TV Cycles here with a quick update on April the 9th. So a couple of days since last time, so I have to do another video. I was looking for this 2-week oscillation low, and it stretched a little bit more than originally expected, but yeah, that's a 2-week oscillation low, a 4-week cycle low. And I've drawn here a general bounce scenario, but we will look further into that. This crazy volatility, I would probably have loved it when I was a trader, but right now I think it's it's very tough, because I kind of have I feel a responsibility and a pride about my forecasts. And I start to worry if I have made a wrong forecast. But if we look at the hourly data for Dow Jones Industrial, I was looking at this yesterday and I realized we still had not triggered a buy signal, and this low here looked very alone and lonesome, and yeah, we needed a bottom formation here. But now we just triggered a buy signal. There are several buy signals, but one here is my purple indicator. It has now turned up, and you can look at many buy signals, like breaking some moving averages and so on. Anyway, my wavelets look bullish, and the 2-week oscillation still has some time to go. And we'll come back to that. At this point I would normally start to look at my rally scenarios. Is this a rally? And so far it looks very promising. The strength here could be even stronger than these, but we have to wait and see. But it looks promising, but I'm not expecting a long rally you can trust here. No, be careful. We will come back to that straight away, but as you saw in the beginning, my 2-week or my 4-week cycle is bullish, and if we look at it going forward, I have this general scenario, something like this. I'm looking for some kind of ABC, and then it could be a double top, or well, there are many scenarios here, but in general into around late April. This bounce should go on into late April, and then we have to evaluate. If we start to break trend lines here, we could really find momentum, but I'm doubtful, because when we look at historical analogs, they kind of suggest a downtrend into what would be mid-May, and I would look for some kind of a bounce like this, and a possible double low. It could be a higher low, because this is an overreaction. We crashed too deep here, in my opinion. But if we go back and look at some analogs like the 87 crash, we need to consolidate and make a bottom formation. Similar in 1990, we bounced, made another shoulder and further down. 98, similar, nice rally or a bounce for a couple of weeks, but then we made a double low. 2000, kind of a double low. 2011, and you see this can be very volatile, crazy swings, but some kind of ABC I'm looking for. And it could extend even with a double top, so A, B, C, D, E, perhaps. Yeah, you see, many of these analogs, after crash, they need to make some kind of a double low, lower low, higher low, whatever. And that would be around the mid-May time frame. And if we look at my cycle, my 17-week cycle, this is messy. I don't know if you can really see this, but here I'm drawing offsets. Here I'm going back 1 cycle, 2 cycles, 3 cycles, and look, the low we made yesterday was exactly, pretty much, on the low from April last year. same timing in the cycle, same price, and that was the support level I was talking about. We were intraday below it, but so far that support has held. And what does the cycle say going forward? Well, you see over here the cycle is still bearish into mid-May, and here I have made an average in blue of the past 3 cycles, and you see we have a weak period here going into well, there's still a weak period ahead of us. And if you look at the recent cycles, see around this point, we see this cycle, well, that was a higher low. In this cycle it was also a higher low, but in January we completed the correction at that point. So you see we still have this time interval with uncertainty, and we should expect some kind of double low, high low, lower low, something later in a couple of weeks, and that would be mid-May. That's the time frame I've been talking about. So some kind of my primary scenario would be some kind of a volatile A, B, C bounce formation going into April 20 something, maybe the weekend, April 20, well, Saturday, April the 26th, around that weekend. And after that I would think maybe the bears will take over sometime and into mid-May. And as you see, my cycle, it is very bullish into early next week, I think around Monday, and then most of next week is a little bit bearish, but I'm in this volatile market we could go all the way down again, but generally I'm looking for a A. Here it is, some kind of A, B, C, topping around April the 26th. Could be earlier, could be later, and after that, we could even have a double top early May. I don't know, this could play out in many ways. So that's my rough scenario. I'm happy we finally see a reaction to the upside, some buying signals, but I do not think this is over yet by far. And but we have to, I'll come back to longer term projections for the summer and so on in the weekend. So for now, we should finally see a bounce for most of April, and then be careful first half of May. That could give us a reaction down to make some kind of a bigger bottom formation. See you later.